Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and once again, I'm joined by Eric, aka Angie.
Hello.
We are back for another installment of Don't Touch My Grapes, our continued Falcon Crest coverage. Today, we're talking about season 2, episodes 8 through 10. So I'll roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So, episode 8 is titled Choices. And my first note is new Tony has a meeting with Richard. I heard Tony.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Mr. Compson, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I
Did
feel
not
like they
realize that
didn't
they recasted Tony for like a minute.
uh, only for a minute, and yeah, it's weird because I feel like they didn't want you to know it was Tony because they did they say Mr. Compson in the beginning? I thought it was
Richard
just like
said,
he was.
"Thanks for meeting with me, Mr. Compson," or something. He said something with Compson.
Oh,
I was like, Tony?
okay. I must have missed that because I thought they were trying to keep it on the DL that was a new Tony, and they're like, "Who's this guy?" But like maybe I missed that part.
Yeah, no, he said it because when I heard Compson, I'm like, there's not too many Compsons. There's only 3 that I know
And
of.
that guy is in a lot of stuff. Like he was in the He-Man movie in the 80s, which you might not know.
I probably have seen it, but not since the 80s.
He's Skeletor. But anyway, moving on.
Oh, cool. I want to see it.
Yeah, it's
I was
cool.
more into the cartoon He-Man. I wasn't really into like, was it a live action thing?
Hmm.
Oh, I was more into the cartoon in the 80s.
It's weird. It's weird and it's not similar to the cartoon.
Okay.
It's a fun watch though. I like it.
Okay.
Courtney Cox's first movie.
Oh, that's even more intriguing.
Another reason to watch.
Um, so Richard informs Tony that he has a grandson. Um, Lance
Is
finds
in
Tony.
peril.
Yeah, that's in peril. And yeah, Lance finds Tony watching over the baby at the hospital, and he informs him that he's not the father of the baby.
Yeah.
Lance asks Tony to help convince Julia that the baby is not his.
But it doesn't matter. Lance just doesn't get it. It does not matter that this baby is not his. He really thinks it matters. Melissa's like, it doesn't matter. This is just how it is. Accept it.
Yes, Angela doesn't care either because either way, it's still like in the family
Hmm.
bloodline.
Right. She don't care.
It's her heir. Like,
Yep.
Chase tries to get permission from Melissa to exhume Carlo's grave for a second
Mm.
autopsy.
Which doesn't go well.
You know, she's so focused on the baby right now. She's like not even thinking about that, and she kind of has an emotional reaction to that. Like, get out of here! Like, I can't even think about this.
Melissa, this is a difficult time for you, I know. And I wish there was some other way. But I need a favor that only you can grant.
What is it?
As you know, Cole's trial begins next week. The only chance we have to prove his clear-cut innocence is with some new evidence.
What does that have to do with me?
We need your permission for a second autopsy to be performed on your father's body.
How dare you at a time like this defile her father's grave?
Angela, that's not my intention.
I think it's outrageous that you would intrude.
Melissa, we need your help.
Please, I need to lie down.
Nurse!
My baby's dying right now. That's all I can think about. Just leave us alone.
And of course, Angela's like, "How dare you disturb the dead?" Like, she doesn't want it.
Well, anything Chase is doing, she doesn't, no matter what he said, he could have been like, hi, and be like, how dare you? Like she it's just Angie.
Tony tries to see Julia, but Angela threatens to call the cops if he doesn't leave.
Hmm.
That was a fun little standoff. I like that scene.
Well, she does it every time when Tony's around. Get out. Kelly!
Tony accepts a job with Richard.
Hmm.
And Richard, in exchange, makes a call to arrange a meeting between Tony and Julia. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I get very invested in Julia and Tony whenever he comes around.
Me
It's
too.
always the
And
same outcome. We're leaving Falcon Crest. We're getting married again. We're gonna like start a new life, and it doesn't.
it's because it's the writing.
And I
Honestly,
fall
it's
for it
the right.
every single time. I'm like, maybe this time it'll be different.
I know, and they all say the same thing too. Yeah, and it's the writing, and that's like even it's a new Tony. Like I feel like he's a good actor, so it like works. They
Yeah.
they have good chemistry, and you're just like, please get together, leave, and nope.
Joseph is baptized at the hospital. And Melissa threatens Lance that if the baby dies, she'll make him pay for the rest of his life.
Hmm.
Tony and Julia end up meeting, and they disagree about Lance's situation with Melissa. She's like, "You believe him because he told you? Like, what proof do you have?"
Yeah. Yep.
Chase pays Catherine a visit because Cole has gone missing. Cole shows up after Chase leaves, and he begs Catherine to let him stay the night.
How dare
Essentially,
he?
her an accessory to a fugitive.
Yeah, yeah.
When I saw her, I was like, "Oh, I thought we were done with this bitch." Like,
Aw.
I didn't really
He
care.
broke her heart. He broke her heart, and then
Yeah,
he
I
goes
wasn't
back
invested
to
in
her, and well, it was only a few episode arc.
Yeah. I was like, is she the new Mario? Is she just gonna keep coming back? I thought we broke up. Come on.
Nah, I think that's it for her. I think.
Tony tries to convince Julia to leave with him, same old, same old.
Yeah.
Melissa tells Maggie she knows Cole didn't kill her father and that she'll sign the release for the second autopsy. So she's more, even-minded at this point.
Yeah.
Chase finds Cole on the docks trying to sail to Panama. He fights with him to get him to stay, and Cole gives in and agrees to go home.
Yeah.
Angela and Philip read a copy of Tony's contract with Richard, in which he hands over Julia's stock in the New Globe over to Richard. So there was a scene that I didn't quite get until this scene where Tony got a delivery and he signed for it.
Yeah.
What was it? Pictures of him and Julia? Was that what it was?
It was a picture. Yeah, it was like a picture of their wedding day or something.
Right.
Angela used it to get his signature.
Yeah, and then we
Like
saw
a-
like the person that delivered and got the signature hand something off in the hallway, and I'm like, what was that? Like, I'm like, was I not paying attention?
Handed it to Chow Lee.
To Charlie. And I'm like,
Which is funny because Chow Lee is all about honor, but yet he'll do anything for Angela. It's strange to me. Very strange.
Undying loyalty.
For sure.
So Julia is stunned that Tony would do this to her.
Mm.
I don't know why she believes anything Angela has to say about Tony. She's always trying to sabotage them.
And I don't think she believes, like, she kind of does at first, but then she's like swayed not, but then it just always works out the same. It's odd to me.
I feel like she, in the moment, always believes Angela. Her and Tony don't like work out. He leaves, and then she must like think about it until the next time he comes back, and then she sees him and she's like, "Oh, I want to be with you again." Like she realizes she was played. Like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like a bad broken record.
Yeah. The autopsy shows that Carla was struck by someone right-handed and Cole is left-handed.
Yes.
Lance confronts Tony about the signature, and Tony begs Lance to get away from Falcon Crest as soon as possible because it's a cancer.
Yep.
He leaves town again without Julia.
Yep.
So the DA drops the charges against Cole due to insufficient evidence.
Hmm.
Richard receives double bad news when Tony pays him a visit and ends their deal, and then learns Cole has been proven innocent and is furious. Pretty good episode.
Yeah, it was. It was a solid episode. And I feel like they kind of lay off that there's still a killer loose for a little bit after this.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, Cole's free, and now, all right, we're good.
But that's like typical soap. Like whenever there's a murder mystery, they kind of stray away from it, and then they come back to it, and then they go away.
Right, right.
No
Well,
Emma.
they do have what's that? No, no, Emma.
Emma.
And then Maggie mailed her script to Daryl. Remember that? That's important in what's coming up.
Okay, I can't retain his name for some reason. Throughout my notes, I just have writer man or producer man. That's all I have.
It's so funny you said that. I wrote Daryl, and I'm like, is that right? Like as it was going on, I'm like, I really got to listen for his name so I can say it.
I'm like, I don't really care about him because I know he's not long term, so I'm just gonna call him writer man.
You know, he's not. He does hang around a little bit in this season. He's like every other episode or something like that. So he is around for a bit. I think you covered everything.
All right. Well, episode
Oh,
9.
I like the I did want to mention I like how Vicky and Cole are through this episode. They're like very brother sisterly, like she knew about everything, you know, like I
Yeah.
like all that stuff.
I remember
Um
you saying that you like the family scene, so I kind of clocked
I
that. And I was like,
do.
Eric likes these kind of
I do. Because I feel like it's important to strengthen relationships, and I think it's really important that so you care about these people, you know, to do that.
Yeah,
If you
honestly,
just and Father Bob did the baptism.
I did. I
Like
can
this
never
Father
retain
Bob
his
again.
name either. I can never retain his name, but I was like, oh, the guy that sticks around did it.
Through the whole series from season 1 to season 9.
Yeah,
Father
and,
Bob's always there.
and when we get to season 9, still won't remember his name probably.
Damn it, you better.
I watch too many soaps. It's hard to remember everybody's name.
Especially season 5, because he's in like every episode in season 5.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, I think that's all I got.
all right. So episode 9 is titled The Vigil. Cole tells Melissa the charges were dropped. She had heard already. She asks if he thinks they are being punished for being in love and her being a bad person.
I know. I feel so bad for her in these. How didn't she get nominated for an Emmy? She really should have been.
Angela
Good.
and Philip discuss Emma being mentally incompetent to get control of her stock of the New Globe. I feel like they mention this every other episode, how she's mentally incompetent.
Yeah. Yep.
Emma is on a bus and talking to an older woman. Just rambling on and on. That woman's facial expressions were hilarious. She's just like, shut up.
Seriously.
And
Seriously.
every time Emma would say something even more extreme, which was true, she was just like, okay, crazy.
I know, it's so funny.
And then Emma notices the man that's been following her on the bus, and she says she'll give him the slip in the next stop.
God, I love that woman. I'll say it every episode. She's so good.
I like how she knows she's being followed, spots the guy, but puts glasses on like he can't see her now that she can't magically has glasses on.
Let me pull my hat down a little bit and put my glasses on. She's great.
Maggie flies to Hollywood to meet with Mr. Clayton. Oh, I wrote his name down. Mr. Clayton.
There you go.
I forgot it by the next episode because then I started writing Writer Man. She flies to Hollywood to meet with him about her script. It's been deemed not suitable at this time.
I love how persistent she is. I like how she keeps going. Like she's like, so okay, so Daryl I think turned it down originally, and then she goes to another company, and this lady and that lady's like, we have all these scripts, lady. Sorry, they ain't getting read.
Yeah, and I don't know how true this is. But the woman had mentioned how much it costs to mail them back, and she even said we don't even read them; we just mail them back. Like, what? Is that real?
Yeah.
Why would you mail them back? Throw them out.
I know. I know, right? Like it got lost in the mail, if anything.
Or keep them archived. You never know. You might want to cherry pick one day and read it.
Yeah, for sure.
Chase wants to start a new vineyard, but Angela is against it because she's against everything he tries to do.
Yep.
Because she's trying to save all the money from Falcon Crest to buy up stocks to gain controlling interest in the new globe.
Well, I think she already used that money, is what it was.
Oh, is that why
That's
she's
why.
really against it? So he wouldn't.
Yeah, so he wouldn't look at. That's why he gets that auditor, and they're like, all that money's gone, and then she has to repay it.
Right.
Yeah.
I said Vicky is still running with her married man friend. Nick.
I have that too. I put Vicky continues her fitness journey.
That's all she did in this episode. She's just running.
She just keeps on running.
Cole accuses her of falling into her old bad habits.
Mhm.
And then he confides in her that he is the father of Melissa's baby. So that was one of their nice scenes that I was like, oh, Eric likes this.
Right? I love it. Because it makes sense. That's how me and my sister are. You know, like me and Jenny talk. We do. We tell each other everything, and then like my mom and dad have no idea. So they're always like, "Oh, you knew?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It's my sister.
I'm not telling her business.
Exactly.
Angela meets with Clayton in the valley and convinces him to work with Maggie on her script, and she will back the project privately. And she also kind of like hints like maybe you should seduce her to keep her busy.
Yeah, right.
Problems in their marriage.
Do what you got to do to keep her in Hollywood or LA, wherever they're
at. Richard brings a doctor to help with Joseph's respiratory infection. I was laughing because I'm like, I love how they just bring a doctor in and he magically cures within like a day and then he leaves.
The child had 20% chance of living in the last episode. And now all of a sudden,
I was like, that's not how medicine works. Not in the 80s.
If so, we got to call that doctor. We got to call that doctor. From Germany, I think. I forget where he's at.
Yeah. Lance walks in on Richard comforting Melissa and gets the wrong idea. And he said something, never change, or like you're always like back to your old ways, or something like that. I don't know.
I don't think he got the wrong idea. I don't think he cares. So I think he was just like, oh, that's you. Bye. You know, like
he had a little bit of an emotional, like jealous kind of reaction to it. Like he was it's like Melissa sees him with another girl. She gets all like territorial.
Yeah,
like,
I guess so.
I'm not sleeping with him, but he's mine.
Yeah, right.
Nothing to be sorry about.
You never change. Do you?
The doctor thinks that it's time Melissa holds Joseph to help with his recovery. Richard thinks him helping to cure Joseph will make Melissa open to selling the Agretti mansion to him, which would give him a foothold in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
And these are conversations that he's had with Shannon Tweed, because I can't remember her name.
Diana.
And ever since you told me that Shannon Tweed, I've just like clung on to that idea that she's Shannon Tweed.
Savannah.
Or Savannah.
They should have just kept her name Savannah. Like, I don't know, more mysterious.
So that's all I have for that episode. Do you have anything else to add?
Vicky found out Nick was married in this episode.
Oh, that's right. They were at the was it her and Chase were at the store and they ran into Nick?
No, Cole tells her at first, I think, and then she bumps into Chase, or I forget what happened with that.
I know she was with Chase and they ran into Nick and she was kind of like awkward and she was just like, we're done.
Well, Cole mentioned it to her. Remember, he's like, "Look, you know, he's married, right?" And she's like, yeah, of course," but she didn't. She just said that to be like not sad, I guess, from her brother.
It's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing.
And Chase finds out the funds are drained, which we said, right? the
Yeah.
Falcon Crest funds by hiring that auditor person. Oh, Chase visited Maggie. I thought that was cute because he was going to the auditor, so he made Maggie a stop on the way.
That was in this episode?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I feel like he also
Yeah,
sees her in the
yeah,
next.
he comes again. He kind of makes it like a regular thing.
Yeah, I guess it's a quick flight. It's in California. They're just going from San Francisco.
Yeah,
It's probably like a 20-minute flight.
that's why I love Chase and Maggie. They're like my favorite couple on there.
Wow. Favorite.
They are. They are, seriously. I love them. I mean, it's real people problems. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you want them to be happy all the time. I want to see them struggle. I want to see them fight, you know? Like, I like that stuff. And then they make up, and I like that. It's like real couple stuff.
Well, episode 10 is titled Confrontations. My first line is, why is the sink so full? Because Cole was washing dishes. Like, it was like overflowing. Like Maggie's the only one that washes dishes in that house.
I think it's supposed to look like that, actually. You know, I didn't think about that. And that's a good point. That's because Maggie's away. So, yeah, I guess she's the only one that took care of business.
It was a pet peeve of mine because I like to go to bed with an empty sink. So like I was just like, why is that? Why? I don't understand. There's 3 other people in this house. Why is that sink so full?
I know, right? I
Um,
guess, yeah, there's really not time for them to clean them. I guess Vicky's really the only one that could. She's only running.
dish. So yeah, Cole washing dishes while distracted thinking about Melissa and the baby. This is another like, nice Cole and Vicky scene. And Vicky encourages Cole to tell their parents he's the father. Philip meets with a woman for lunch, and I put in parentheses from General Hospital.
Yes, you recognized it. I was
don't
going to say
know her
something.
name. I know it's Barrington, and I only know that because she's the grandmother of Allison on Port Charles. Like I don't actually know her from General
Yes. She's Amanda Barrington. She
Amanda.
started on General Hospital in 1984, which I did not know because I didn't see it. I looked it up. I had to investigate a little. And she actually plays Amanda on Falcon Crest. So her name is Amanda on Falcon Crest and General Hospital. Yeah. And she played that role until after Port Charles went off the air. She played it on General Hospital until 2004.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, long time.
He
I'm
meets with
excited
this,
to see her because I'm in 1983, you know, on General.
so you're making your way to her.
Yeah. See her soon.
Well, at the speed you're watching, maybe a couple of years.
I know, for real.
So he meets with this woman in order to seduce shares from her for the new Globe, so Angela can have more controlling interest.
Yep.
Because at first I'm like, all right, who's this woman? Are we just like getting a random scene of Philip having lunch, like having a life outside of Angela? And then he meets with Angela after, and I was like, I see what you did.
I like what he said to the woman. Do you remember what he said? He's like, Angela, I feel like he pretty much said I would be with Angela if I could get warmth and understanding out of her. Like, I was like, that's weird. So he's basically saying, I'm going to get laid by you, but I'm going to be tight with Angela. It was, I don't know.
Yeah.
Really strange. Philip's a dirty dog.
Yeah. Chase visits Maggie in LA.
Yes.
But he has meetings, so their schedules aren't really lining up.
Yeah.
Vicky continues to run and flirt with Nick.
I have that too.
Melissa and the baby return home, and Angela asks
Oh.
Lance if it would have killed him to bring his wife and child home from the hospital.
Yeah, right?
He's basically like, yeah, because it's not my child.
Yeah, right. I love how he really thinks it's a thing. Like, I just don't get it. Like, he can't get it in his head. So
He
weird.
says he'll drink to the health of the baby and to the blood test proving that he's not the father.
Yeah.
Well, aren't you going to drink a toast to the new heir of Falcon Crest?
I'll drink to the continued good health of that little boy, and to the day I can prove that I'm not the father.
How do you think you'll do that?
Blood tests, Melissa. Ever hear of them?
Don't be a fool. That baby ties Falcon Crest to the Agretti Vineyards. Just like your grandmother planned.
Well, the price is too high.
Perhaps for you, but not for me.
Melissa once again reiterates, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody does. Even Julia says it at one point. Like, what the it doesn't matter.
Chase runs late at a meeting and returns to find Maggie and Writer Man working on her scripts.
Yep.
He can't stay much longer because he has more meetings back home. So they're kind of like two ships passing in the night.
Mm.
Cole picks Chase up from the airport, and as soon as they get home, he tells Chase that he's the father of Joseph.
Yep.
Uh,
And wait, did we? Oh, you go ahead. I think you're saying it.
Jacqueline is going to be returning in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Writer Man convinces Maggie to stay in LA and work on her script at his Malibu house.
Hmm. Nice Malibu house on the beach. Set the scene.
Richard has a meeting with Angela at Falcon Crest. He announces he's putting 2 million more shares on the stock market, thwarting Angela's plan to buy up enough stock to gain controlling interests without Emma's stock.
I wish I understood this stuff. Like, how many shares could you possibly have? Like, is it like per company? Is it like 5 million shares? Like, I
I'm
have
trying
2
really
shares.
hard. Trying to pay really close attention to all of this.
I have 2 shares in AMC stock. Can I take over? Like, what do I need to buy 35,000 shares? Like, what? I don't understand it. I want to, but I don't get it.
Philip mentions a wealthy stockbroker. He says he'll try and see what he can get him to do. Maggie is on a riding high and almost done with her script, and we'll call him Daryl now. So now I remember. Flirts with her. Angela tries to convince Chase to vote Emma's shares with hers for the benefit of Falcon Crest. He laughs at her admitting that he's a part of Falcon Crest now.
Yeah, it's so funny. And she's like, "Ugh," and just walks away.
I'd like to talk to you, Chase.
You need my advice about something?
No? I need Emma's proxy.
Sorry, Angela.
Now, Chase, I need that proxy. I have to be able to vote her block of stocks with mine.
If Emma had wanted you to have it, she'd have given it to you.
Now, I love Emma very much, but she doesn't know what she's doing half the time.
She knew what she was doing the day she left here.
Did you see her that day?
That's when she gave me the proxy.
Did she say where she was going?
I'm not at liberty to say.
When the time comes to take control of the globe, I want you to vote her block of stocks with mine for the good of Falcon Crest.
I'll vote as I see fit, and not just to make you more money.
What benefits me benefits Falcon Crest. And you're a part of it now.
Well, hallelujah, you finally admitted it. I'm a part of Falcon Crest now, huh?
That's so good. Writing's so good in these seasons.
Cole tells Chase that he wants a job at the winery at Falcon Crest, and he says yes. Maggie takes a dip in the ocean, and Daryl kisses her.
Yeah, I was confused by that because, like, in the one scene that she's like typing at the house or whatever, and she blows them off, like completely, like shuts them down. And then the next scene, as she comes up swimming, and then she kisses, and I'm like, what is it? Just like the moment? Like, what is like? Oh, this is a romantic, like beach thing. I don't know. I was confused by that.
Well, in her defense, he kissed her. It wasn't like she like went for it.
Yeah, but she kissed back. She was like, oh.
Well, I don't blame her.
I
It was cold. He wrapped her in a towel, and he just kind of like went for it. And she was just kind of like, she was probably like startled, like, and she also probably felt a little something because they had a little chemistry. So
yeah, I guess so. You know, with Me and Maggie and Chase, so I can't.
It's interesting how some shows will just like not mention the kiss like it was nothing, and like other shows would be like, you kiss somebody else, and the couple will break up. Like,
You're right. Yeah,
it's-
I know more than that
if
happened.
this kiss ever gets mentioned, it might, but I don't feel like it's break-upable. Like,
I almost feel like she tells Chase, which is another reason why I like them, but I can't remember. But I feel like she does because I remember liking that stuff.
but even on like, I guess it's just older shows like Knots Landing, Dallas, like people will just randomly kiss, and it's like not even like a plot point really. It's just like something.
Right, yeah. Right.
Philip tells Angela the broker is exploitable because he has a drug problem.
Mm.
Maggie seems to be struggling with the chemistry she has with Daryl, but decides to be faithful and go home to Chase.
Yay.
Chase tells Maggie the minute she gets home that he's Cole. Wait, Chase tells Maggie that Cole is Joseph's father the minute she gets home.
Yeah. Which I think she that might have been the time she was going to tell Chase about her situation, but that like kind of
trumped it.
Overtook that. Yeah, that trumped it. She's like, oh, okay. Because I remember she wanted to like talk about it, but then he like kind of was, said it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is also when Vicky's kind of like, yeah, I knew. I'm gonna go running.
Yeah. Yep. Gotta run.
I know for a while, and Maggie's like, a while.
Yeah. This is her 10K run. Finally, her fitness journey has come to a head.
Okay, so this is where my mind went because I've done like 5Ks.
Right.
Like that's like 3 point something miles. So I'm like, so this is like close to 7 miles. Like I was just trying to figure out like what a 10K was. I was like,
yeah,
so
I'm not.
7 miles.
I'm not positive.
Richard visits Philip about obtaining him as his lawyer. And Philip asked if he could have a few days to think about it, and Richard's like, no.
This is where Philip starts to get very shady in this season. And this
yes,
is
I
when
remember him kind
starts.
of playing both ends.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really like
He
him.
does. I like him because I like the drama that he brings. Like I feel like he brings good stuff. And I like his chemistry with Angie. But I get it. Philip's a dirty dog, like all around. So I do get it.
The Gia Birdies support Vicky as she runs a 10K.
Yeah.
They meet Nick's wife. Vicky is uncomfortable and has to go home. And Nick's wife says he didn't tell her Vicky was that attractive or that young.
Yeah.
They're talking about his like girlfriends on the side.
I don't get their marriage. I don't understand.
He must have a history of being unfaithful or being flirty or whatever. That's why she's just like, oh, that's the new one.
Yeah, I guess.
Nick? Hey, congratulations. You haven't met my wife, Sheila. You introduce. I'll breathe.
Nick's told me a great deal about you.
Well, this is my wife, Maggie.
Hi,
This is my son, Cole. Hi. My daughter, Vicky.
Hi. Hi. You're the one who gets leg cramps. Yeah, I think I've gotten past that now, though.
Do you think we could go home? I think I could really use a shower.
All right, sure. Okay, congratulations again. Nice to meet you, Sheila. Take care.
Bye-bye.
So long. So long.
Keep it up. 26, 27.
You didn't tell me that she was that attractive.
36, 33.
Or that young.
64, 35.
I feel like she has something going on too. We find out later on in the season.
Yeah, there's something to them because they're very like detached from each other emotionally.
Yeah, right.
We had one scene a few episodes ago where they were just, I don't know, not connected.
They're not on much, but I guess they have to like tap into a little bit of things so we know a little bit. But
yeah,
she's not on a ton. Her name is Sheila, though. I did catch that and wrote it. 'Cause I'll probably forget it if I don't.
Chase pays Angela a visit to tell her he wants Cole to work at the winery. She says there isn't enough payroll and they need to lay some people off. Chase says he found some international business accounts where money was used to buy up stock in the New Globe. He threatens to expose her for wrongdoing unless she pays the money back to Falcon Crest. He also informs her Jacqueline will be arriving soon.
Yeah.
Philip advises Angela to pay back the money and let go of the stock, and she says she can handle Chase and Richard, but she wonders what Jacqueline's got to do with all of this.
I know, right?
She doesn't say Jacqueline as Jacqueline. She says Jacqueline.
Yeah, she says Jacqueline. What does Jacqueline have to do with all
I
this?
don't know if that's just what it is, or she just refuses to call her Jacqueline.
Yeah, right.
Like she's just like, stop.
Yeah, I don't know.
Your name is Jacqueline.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you have anything else to add on this episode or any of the episodes?
No, like I said, I feel like, I mean, I think they mentioned it in the last episode that they talked about the killer's still out there, but that's like it so far, I think. I forget what's coming, to be honest with you. I know Jacqueline comes back, you said you saw in the preview, so
I'm keeping an eye on
Okay.
Julia. And I'm just gonna say, when Tony came around, she was very unbothered about what happens later on. Like she just seems like she's just living her life. Like
living her life. Yeah,
But-
very cool.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us once again for another edition of Don't Touch My Grapes. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, house tricks. Bye.
Bye.
That's all right, don't worry. I'll give him the slip at the next stop.